Good early morning, everybody. It's March 19th, 2024, and I'm going to read a brief testimony. But before I do, please hit the thumbs up. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well, and welcome newcomers. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to read a brief testimony. This is the first time this individual is sharing any kind of information publicly, but he prefers to do so anonymously. We'll just call him SDL. And this is his testimony. This is at least part of his testimony. I know there might be another portion of part 2 in the future, but we're not sure yet. And I do have a bunch of photos. He also gave me the liberty to comment on what he wrote or add anything or make any recommendations. So here we go. I'm not sure when the covert targeting began, but I can recall as far back as 2006 being followed by short Latino males. They seemed to be in every store I went into, speaking loudly into their phones, trying to create a fight or flight response. It was always the same kinds of males taking photos and videos of me. I began to feel uneasy, and I stopped going out for a while, isolating until my mother passed in 2020 during COVID. I soon moved to the high-rise apartment that I live in now, assuming that having a doorman would be more secure. However, shortly afterwards, drones began hovering near my window, so I called the local precinct to report it, and I was told that they would take care of it. 2 days later, I started receiving spam calls from China and Mexico and weird spoofed calls. Then 2 officers showed up to report a domestic violence call. A month later, another fake domestic violence call was placed while I was eating breakfast. This was in March of 2022 through October 2022. On October 26, 2022, I noticed some guy seated on the floor outside my door. And after recording and reporting it, the electronic harassment began 24/7. Tingling, creepy, crawling feelings and loud projected booms and bang sounds and frequency harassment, until I noticed these weird burn marks, which I assumed is from through-the-ground wall radar equipment. I will share more detailed accounts in another letter involving witchcraft and holograms, etc., dream manipulation and dream intrusion that I have experienced. Thank you, Lorraine, for everything. I will send the photos after this letter, and I did receive a whole bunch of photos. I'll tell you the ones that I received. I received a few photos of the burn marks on his body. One in particular I am going to use as a thumbnail. A couple of other photos were of those wonderful drawings in the sky. And then another one of an adorable kitty. Little kitty cat. But I wanted to mention something. This is what caught my attention, okay? There are a couple of things about the people taking videos or photos of you. It was just making you feel uneasy. Of course it would. Why would somebody want to be photographing and taking videos of you? Strangers that you don't know. And that this would happen consistently. I mean, that happened to me. It happened to so many people. In fact, I take great pleasure in photographing them, photographing me, and posting it online. And it's important to do so. I mean, now that you know that this is happening, it definitely behooves you to not photograph and document what these creatures are doing to you. Now, the second portion where it says that you started receiving spam calls from China and Mexico and weird spoofed calls. Well, this happens to a lot of people also. They want you to respond to it. and then they can make the connection, the FISA 702 connection, that you have a contact with somebody in another country. And may she rest in peace, my friend Kim Straub, who lived in Tennessee. She would receive text messages from China also. But we don't know if they really were from China. Maybe it just said it was. Maybe that was a setup. Maybe they're just trying to set up China, right? You know, maybe it's somebody here in the United States. You just don't know. I mean, anybody can have any kind of phone number. You know, perhaps somebody lived in another country and had the ability to get a phone number from that country, but use it here in America. You just don't know. But anyway, Kim also received phone calls from China, and she definitely would not respond. And I also get some weird spoof calls. Like I received one today. It was allegedly from the post office, USPS, telling me that my package is running late. And it's running late because my address was rubbed off of the package. Can I go to this web address and type in my home address? And I'm thinking to myself, you're kidding me, right? First of all, the post office would never send me a text message. If they did, they would know my name. They would have very particular details. And they certainly wouldn't ask me to share any of my personal information over the phone or through any kind of a link that they sent to me. So it was obviously one of those spoofing calls, wanting to gain information from me. So yes, I hear what you're saying here. It is weird when stuff like this happens. I mean, it's bad enough that pretty much everybody gets spam calls, but to continue to receive them right after you saw those drones hovering by your window, and that your mother passed away in 2020, and that you had all these people following you around and taking photos and videos of you and stuff, it's not a coincidence anymore. I mean, these are tactics. These are gang stalk. I hate that term, gang stalking, but these are surveillance tactics that are utilized on pretty much everybody. And then when you said that a month later, you started to receive fake domestic violence calls that they were placed while you were eating breakfast. Now, do you ever wonder who placed that call? It was probably a neighbor, you know, trying to set you up. And you're sitting there eating breakfast. Is that even bizarre? But, you know, I watch too many of these police auditing channels, and it's like a script that they all go by. So, you know, I'm sorry that this happens to you. It's horrible. But I'm looking forward to, and hopefully that you'll share another letter involving the witchcraft and holograms and the dream manipulation and dream intrusion. I am particularly interested in hearing about that from other people. There are a lot of people who are, you know, perhaps more religious that don't want to discuss that. But the fact remains that it is happening, and that they are placing witchcraft in your home, on your property. They do it with your clothing, and there are symbols that they embed in things around your house. It really means your ability to photograph pretty much everything. Everything that they vandalize, if you photograph it and then increase the size, zoom in, invariably you will see their symbol, their signature. And they will place, if it's the same person, they will use the same symbol or signature in all of their vandalism. And then you might see another one that belongs to another creepo. But yes, they're so egotistical and narcissistic, they need to take credit for their abuse. So they usually embed one of their symbols. So anyway, directed energy weapons, we use the word DEW, D-E-W for short, directed energy weapons. And these weapons can be utilized from a distance. They're silent. They claim that they're hard to track, or at least, you know, we have difficulty tracking them. We can tell what they're doing. sort of like the laser burns, laser burns or dew burns, possibly removing the soil to create that fake erosion around the county creek and other places, and you experience it too. I have received photos from so many people of your burn marks, and I actually have photos of them burning a hole through one of my healthy teeth. Yes, one of my healthy teeth, drilled from hole to hole, a burn mark. They burned like a laser, like they were shooting a laser through my healthy tooth that just fell out while I was eating breakfast in Manalapan, New Jersey, when I lived at 52 Sutton Drive. So yes, I'm looking forward to hearing more about the witchcraft and holograms and the dream manipulation, dream intrusion. I know there are a lot of people out there where they don't dream anymore. Their dreams are being stolen, because sometimes we can solve our problems in the dream world, in the dream state. They don't want us to solve those problems. They don't want us to create. So they'll interfere with and intercept that process. But thank you so much for sharing this testimony. And yes, I wanted to also mention that they do tend to bring different ethnic groups into your targeting. I know when I lived in New Jersey, there was an Asian woman. I would see her everywhere. I would shop in Wegmans, which was just a couple of minutes, literally within walking distance of my house. And she would always be parked in the Wegmans parking lot, watching me. And then I went to, there was this great Russian store. I forget the name of it. I loved that store. So I would go there. And then there would be this man. And he was like a brown man. Not a black man, brown man. Like maybe he was from Pakistan, or he was not Latino. He was definitely from a different country, and he was handsome. He was a good-looking guy, and he would just be hanging out there, just watching everything that I do, just staring at me, like he was staring through me. It's like he was trying to analyze what I was doing, like he was trying to figure me out or something. And I would go from food to food, to food. And I would turn around and he'd just be standing there looking at me. No smile or anything like that. This was not like a pickup. This was somebody surveilling me. Yes, it is very uncomfortable. It's bizarre. Anyway, I am looking forward to hearing more about your testimony and getting the pieces together for you and having you be able to share this and share the link with your friends and save this. So this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Thank you, SDL, for this testimony. The targeting began as far back as 2006, and he was followed by short Latino men. So we're going to sign off for now, and hope everybody's doing well. Please hit the thumbs up. I'll talk to you tomorrow.